Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. It's easy, fast, and it helps us produce new content.
Alexander Cross just hung up the phone with a smile from ear to ear. Using my skills, I just moved more than $2 million across 4 countries and 12 banks, successfully laundering his money and protecting him from any government investigation. My name is John Carter. I became known and respected as a man who was excellent at moving money, hiding funds, and protecting people from prosecution and imprisonment. I never ask where the money comes from, and I never interfere in their business to protect myself from authorities and keep my moral compass pointed in the right direction. Oh, I know what these people do for a living, but I believe in the rule. Don't ask, and you won't be lied to. The work has earned me a good deal of money. Using my own strategies, I have 16 bank accounts in 8 countries, 10 cryptocurrency wallets, and a company that owns my home, my cars, and pays all my bills and expenses. I get a salary of $50,000 per year from the company, which I use for unexpected expenses. The company turns a small profit annually to remain legal in the eyes of tax authorities. This strategy also protects me from any civil suit, litigation, or divorce, as I show a low net worth and a very low income on record. Many of my clients understand my value and offer me things I can't accept as thanks for solving their financial issues: women, drugs, trips, protection, pretty much anything you can imagine. So far, I have not accepted anything from them. My current situation has created a need for me to accept help with surveillance, protection, and some aspects of muscle. My business friends were happy to finally be able to help me out and thank me for the work I have done for them. My wife, Sarah, thinks I am a financial consultant, which I am. I am a certified financial consultant. She does not know how much I make, what my funds are, or of any of my offshore accounts. All she knows is that the company is paying the mortgages of $1 million on the property, the cars, and expenses. She never asked, because she doesn't have to work, drives a new luxury car every year, and has an unlimited budget for shopping and entertainment. I thought Sarah was happy and loved being with me. Throughout our 5-year marriage, Sarah was fantastic in bed, where we often had passionate sex several nights a week. She was wild in bed, knew how to turn me on and satisfy me. Fun, fantasy, sex, and love were a great combination, and I was living in paradise. But, apparently, my paradise was about to take a Category 5 hurricane. Sarah and I dated for 2 years and were married at the young age of 25. We have been married for 5 years. Sarah had just turned 30, and with her big, round breasts, sexy legs, and stunning figure, she could easily be any man's trophy dream. Her blonde hair and amazing blue eyes entranced any man. She was constantly looked at and propositioned, but would not entertain any of their advances, and would happily flash her engagement ring and 3-carat diamond ring, letting them know she was married. Before we were married, I found out that, in college, she dated a man named Ryan Miller. She was madly in love with Ryan, but he was not ready to settle down. Instead, Ryan enlisted in the army, and their relationship ended up fading away. Now, I found out that 8 years later, Ryan Miller left the military and returned to our town, and Sarah could not get over her love for him. When Ryan returned from his 2 tours of duty, of course, he looked up old friends, including my wife, Sarah. She was always under his spell, and after getting her cell phone number through a mutual friend, he would text and call her trying to find the old connection. 6 weeks ago, Sarah started acting differently, most likely out of guilt from communicating with Ryan and keeping it a secret. The extra attention and additional sex games with me were enjoyable but were unusual for Sarah. She has always been thoughtful and cheerful, but it was clear that something had changed. I didn't wait and paid closer attention to Sarah. That weekend, one of our friends mentioned Ryan at a barbecue and said he was back in town. I asked when he returned, and it coincided with the changes I noticed in Sarah. The next day, I called one of my business friends and told him what was going on and that I might need his help. He was thrilled to be able to do something for me after all the money I made him and how I kept him out of trouble with the authorities. I gave him all the names and info, and he told me they would be in contact with me shortly. I don't know what these people do, but very quickly they provided me with a forensic dossier on Ryan Miller, which contained almost his entire life history and information, from a copy of his birth certificate to his college records, to his family tree, to his military records. I knew more about this guy than his own mother. I was also provided a daily printout of her text messages, including more than 15 messages a day to my wife. I was told not to ask where they got this information. At first, the messages were friendly and what you would expect from an old friend, but after the first week, they turned sexual. I was happy to see that Sarah shut down his advances, but after another week of his persistence, he finally got her to break down the barriers, and she started to flirt back. My anger toward this predator grew, because I knew that Sarah still had feelings for this guy, and I knew that trouble was coming. After 4 weeks of flirting and messaging, he got Sarah to agree to meet for lunch. The guy even had the nerve to ask her to wear something sexy for him because he missed her so much. To my horror, she agreed, and even asked if she should forget her panties, like in the old days. I muttered to myself, God help me. I asked my business partners for advice, and they gave me some ideas on how to deal with this guy. We agreed it would be best for me to meet them face to face while they were having lunch, with someone close by for protection if needed. Of course, we knew exactly what time and where they would be meeting, through my friend's surveillance group that was helping me with this issue. I walked into the restaurant and found them sitting in a secluded area. Sarah was wearing a sexy dress with a very low neckline and no bra, which angered me again. They were sitting with their backs to the restaurant, huddled together on one side of a private booth. They looked pretty cozy. I saw a man following me, who I assumed was one of my bodyguards. As I approached their table, my wife and her friend looked up at me as I said, "Hello, Sarah," I said, sliding into the booth in front of them. The large man who was watching me was now sitting 3 tables away, looking at Sarah with a friendly smile. I asked, "Aren't you going to introduce me to your friend?" The scene was intense as I sat there looking into Sarah's eyes. Ryan was looking at me with a confused expression, but my wife was looking at me with a mixed expression of surprise and guilt. They continued to sit side by side, holding hands across the table. After realizing what was going on, she tried to pull her hand from his, but he held it firmly, giving me a smirk that turned into a grimace, showing me that she was with him. This confident jerk had no intentions of backing down. "Honey, this is Ryan Miller." "Ryan, this is my husband, John." I had never seen her so nervous. Ryan seemed amused and did not say a word, just continued to give me a knowing smirk, as if to say, "I have your wife, and there is nothing you can do about it, buddy." Not wasting any time, I simply looked at Sarah and said, trying to remain calm, "I am sorry to interrupt your lunch, but I need to speak to my wife alone for a few minutes. Would you mind letting her out of the seat?" He reluctantly let go of her hand and got out of the booth, allowing her to get out. She stood up, clutching her purse to her bare chest, standing between Ryan and me, looking scared and worried. I took her hand and led her to the back of the restaurant, to the restrooms. Still nervous and feeling guilty about being caught like this with Ryan, she walked silently without saying a word. I pulled her into the empty men's room and started to talk. "Sarah, you have no bra on, and your breasts are simply exposed in this dress. You are dressed like a harlot, and I don't understand why you are being so disrespectful to me." She stood there crying, without saying a word. I then lifted the hem of her dress to make sure she had no underwear on. He saw my expression of horror and then of anger. Holding her dress above her waist, I turned her to face the mirror and forced her to look at her reflection. "No underwear. No underwear. Is this how you dress when I am not around? Sarah, what in the hell are you up to? You are becoming a harlot. This behavior is unacceptable for my wife," she screamed, lowering her dress to cover her nudity. "No, it is not what it looks like. I know how it sounds, but I have a good explanation, and you will understand." I promised to explain, I said, in a dark, commanding tone I had never heard from myself before. I spoke slowly, emphasizing each word. "Obviously, we need to discuss this. If you have any hope of remaining married to me, you will do exactly as I say. If you don't, then don't bother coming home, because our marriage is over right now. You will take your purse, leave here looking straight ahead, and not look at your boyfriend. You will go straight to your car. Go home, turn on the coffee maker, and wait for me to get back. I will be no more than 10 minutes. You are not to text or call your boyfriend or anyone else until we talk. I am going to talk to your boyfriend and explain why you had to leave." I noticed she would not look me in the eye and assumed it was because she felt guilty about being caught like this. "And one more thing, when you get home, do not change your clothes and remain in this dress. I want you to wait for me the way you are right now. If you do not comply with my request, then don't even come home tonight. I will call you later and tell you how things will go from now on." Oh my God, what have I done? When Ryan came to me, I was happy to know that he was safe and not in the army, as I always worried about his safety. Ryan was my first love, and it took a long time to get over him after he left me many years ago. We drifted apart, and although there was no longer any love between us, I still thought of him. I know I love John, and he has been the love of my life since we met. I would never intentionally hurt him, but that is exactly what happened. Damn, Ryan started flirting and telling me things I knew would turn me on. He always had a way of getting me to do things and act like a college kid. I hated the fact that I couldn't resist. I tried to push him away, but his constant flirting and sexual messages wore me down, until I finally agreed to meet him for lunch. Talking to him made me feel so guilty and bad. I knew I should not do this, and should have told John about Ryan's return to town and that we spoke, but I kept it a secret, and I regret it more than anyone can ever imagine. Ryan has a way of making me feel like I belong to him, and when he asked me to wear something sexy, I said yes. I knew it was wrong, and I shouldn't even be going to lunch with him, let alone wearing that dress, but I knew I would. What made me suggest coming without panties? Am I really that shallow and stupid? Yes, When we were dating, he always insisted that I not wear them, and now, when he asked me to lunch, it was as if the old memories just came back and became normal. I almost said no, because I felt so guilty, but a message from Ryan saying he couldn't wait to meet me put me on this path. It was hard not to tell John, but I just thought that an old times lunch would not be a big deal, just for a few hours, like in the old days. Just as he said, he knew how to get me to do things even when I didn't want to. I will be honest, when I saw him at the restaurant, I felt excited. I knew we had a special chemistry, and now he looked sexier than I remembered. 8 years in the Army created a mass of beautiful muscles that any woman would dream of. My face turned red when he kissed me and helped me sit in a private booth. It was like the old days. We laughed, and it felt like he had never left. I felt happy and excited to be around him, and when he held my hand at the table, I felt safe and warm. We were only there for a few minutes, laughing and having fun, when out of nowhere, John appeared in front of us, and what followed was that he suddenly sat down, right in front of us, with a sadistic smile on his face that chilled me to the bone. I felt my heart stop as I realized what he was doing and what everything looked like when John saw us holding hands. My world came crashing down. I saw the pain and anger in his eyes, and I wanted to jump across the table and hug him and tell him how much I loved him and take away his pain. I would never intentionally hurt John, but that is exactly what happened. The way he looked at me, with disgust and contempt, broke my heart. The man I love and have been with for the last 5 years was looking at me with another man, a former lover. I didn't know what to do and stood there frozen and speechless. When John said he wanted to talk to me, my heart broke because I expected him to tell me that it was all over between us. When he took me to the men's room, I didn't know what to expect, and then, when he lifted my dress to reveal I had no underwear on, I almost fainted. I can only imagine what he was thinking, and at that moment, I felt like a harlot and an unfaithful wife. When he told me to go home and wait for him, I remember how he sounded. The way he acted scared me to my core. I knew I had to listen to him to save our marriage and get him to understand why I did this. I have to make this right and just take whatever he dishes out. Then, when he said he was going to talk to Ryan, I just felt scared for him. Ryan is much bigger than John, and with 8 years of Army training, I feared that John might get hurt. I wanted to tell him not to do it, but I was confused. I tried to apologize, but John simply told me again to go home and that he would be there shortly. Then, when he told me not to change my clothes, I realized I was in trouble and that it would be hard to explain my actions. How did I let Ryan talk me into this? I didn't want him in my life. I just wanted to relive the old days and have fun. But, looking at it from John's point of view, it looked like I was about to have sex with Ryan. Damn, how can I make this right? I felt like everyone was looking at me as I walked through the restaurant to my car. I didn't dare look at Ryan and knew he was wondering where I was going. It took me a few minutes to stop crying enough to be able to drive home. It was the longest. Dr. Vi can remember? Seeing the pain on John's face made me cry again. How could I do this to him? I can't believe I let Ryan manipulate me that way. And somehow, I have to get John to forgive me. Damn, I am so messed up right now, and it is, all because of Ryan and my stupidity. When I got home, I made coffee and sat down, wondering what had happened in their conversation. How long will it take for John to come home? Will he yell at me? Can I save our marriage? I need him. I don't want to live without John, and he needs to know that he is the only one I love and want in my life. I went back to the table and talked to Ryan. Well, it looks like Sarah is not coming back, and I just wanted to talk to you. I am sure you know that Sarah still has feelings for you and is easily manipulated, as you saw today and for the last few weeks. But you have to understand that she is married to me, and I will not share her with you. I am not a possessive or reckless person, so today, I am going to give Sarah a choice. Stay in our marriage or leave me for you, but not together. She is going to make that decision alone, without your influence. May the best man win, and if she wants you, then so be it. But if she wants to stay in our marriage, she will never contact you again. If you don't hear from her today, I expect that you will never call or text her again. Do you understand what I am talking about? Listen, buddy. I will call or text her anytime I want to. She is a grown woman and makes her own decisions. She does not belong to you. I can guarantee one thing, she will come back to me. She can't resist the memories of our sexual encounter. I am sorry, but you are going to have to live with it, he said, again, with the same smirk. Oh, Ryan, I hope you are a reasonable person. I mean, you are a good-looking, big, muscular guy. I am sure there are hundreds of single women who would be thrilled to have you. Why do guys like you not leave married women alone? Look, Ryan, maybe you are a big, macho nice guy that Sarah still has affection for, but you underestimate me. Look, Ryan, you don't know what I do or who I hang with, and that, my friend, is your first mistake. I know everything about you and what you have done. By the way, how are your parents, Frank and Nancy? They really love their 2 dogs, Rocky and Lucky, don't they? You know, it has been over 4 years since you saw your sister Kim in San Diego, and her 3 daughters are growing up and would love to see their Uncle Ryan. Oh, and your best friend's girlfriend, David's girlfriend. She's pregnant and expecting a baby. I don't think she has told you yet, but I am sure he will be thrilled. I have read all of your messages to Sarah, and I must say, you are persistent. Look, maybe you are a big, dangerous guy, but the friends I have in my line of work are ruthless, and owe me a lot. Now, I smiled, as you said, she can't resist you. But tonight, we are going to see who the better man is. Is she going to stay with a macho loser like you, or is she going to remain faithful to our 5-year marriage? Look, Ryan, I am going to be upfront. I am going to give her a choice. Her choice will be simple. She can choose to be with you and leave me and our marriage, and if that is her choice, I will respect her and wish you both well. I will not live with a woman who wants another man, and I will not share her. It will hurt, but I would rather let her go now and move on. On the other hand, if she decides to remain faithful, there will be some changes for her after her little stunt with you today. You both damaged my trust level, and it is going to need to be restored. As for you, if she stays with me, you will never contact her again. That means no texting, no emails, no phone calls, and no contact with friends. You will disappear from her life. If you walk into a restaurant and see her there, you will turn around and leave. If you are at a party or a club and see her, you will leave. You will not do anything behind my back or try to contact her, because the pain you will feel will be like nothing you have ever felt before. Your loved ones will pay for your stupidity. Do you understand what I said? Do you understand how serious I am? Ryan stood there with a stunned expression on his face, not knowing what to think. How in the hell do you know so much about my family and my life? Like I said, I have a lot of friends who owe me a favor, and these friends are not the people you want to mess with. I may look like a meek guy, but let's just say there is more than meets the eye. All of a sudden, you are going to give her an opportunity to leave you for me. I am a man of my word. Yes, if it were any other woman who showed me such disrespect as she did with you today, I would have already kicked her out and ruined her. But I love this woman, and I am going to give her one chance, and only one chance. If you are right and she can't resist you, then by midnight tonight, she will.
Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. It's easy, fast, and it helps us produce new content.
Contact you, and she will be yours. The other option is to forget about you, stand by my marriage vows, and continue to be my faithful wife. If she stays with me, you are to be invisible to her, and you will never again interfere in our marriage. John, I hope you stand by your word to let us live in peace, because I think she will want to be with me. That's what she told me, and I know how much she desires me, Ryan said, trying to sound confident and in control. This guy was arrogant, but I had to wonder if he was right. I am going to find out soon. I stood up to leave and said that I hoped I would never have to hear his name again or do something I would rather not do. But we will see. As soon as I walked out, the man in the shadow stood up, stared intently at Ryan with anger, and then left a minute after me. Ryan got a text message to the effect that I had a bodyguard and that maybe he had misjudged me as an innocent, meek husband. I was on my way home, wondering if this woman I loved so much would ever be in my bed again. Will she choose me and leave me, or will she remain faithful to her vows? When I walked into the house, it was silent. She was sitting nervously at the kitchen table, drinking coffee with tears in her eyes. I poured myself a cup and sat down at the table across from her. Sarah, I know everything, including all of your messages to Ryan. Before you ask me how I know, please remember that I have many friends, thanks to my business relationships, who owe me a number of favors, and they are people you would rather not know. Now, I know you are regretful, so please don't say anything, because at this moment it makes no sense to me. You betrayed my love, and today you did something that I never expected and never thought you were capable of doing. By putting him in front of me today, you showed your lack of respect for me as your husband, and you know me. I will not live with a woman who does not respect me, our vows, and the sanctity of our marriage. You know, there are many people who think the definition of a cheating spouse is only when the spouse sleeps with their lover. Some people think kissing is not cheating, but in my world, the mere idea of being with another man is a lie. Kissing and fondling are far beyond cheating and are unacceptable. The conversations you had with Ryan, the sexy dress you were wearing with no bra, your suggestion of coming without panties, the way you sat together holding hands. In my eyes, all of that separately and especially all together is cheating. You gave your love and attention to a man outside of our marriage. Yes, obviously there was no kissing, and that is the only reason we are even communicating and having this conversation. You must know that I will never share you with anyone, and I will not tolerate a cheating wife. I know how close you were to Ryan, and I understand your past feelings for him. However, I also know that you are married to me, and I can tell you without hesitation that I will not share you with him or anyone else. The reason I haven't already kicked you out is because I am madly in love with you, and I will do anything to keep us together. However, before we move on, I have one question, And don't lie, since I may already know the answer. While you were sitting with him, with no panties on, did he ever touch you? Or did anyone else in our marriage ever touch you down there? No, I swear, never. No one ever has. Only you. But today, you were willing to let him, right? She lowered her head and started to cry again. I don't know. I didn't intend to. IDIDN, single quotes, T. I am so sorry for all of this. I am such an idiot. Please, forgive my stupidity. John, well, if he had touched you down there, this conversation would have been over. It sounds like, other than some hand-holding and some texting, nothing happened to end our marriage. While I am disappointed in your actions, tell me why you wore this dress, flaunting your charms. Tell me the truth. Did you plan on seducing him and taking him to bed? Oh God, no, I would never do that. It is hard to explain, but I just wanted to look sexy for him and relive some of my old feelings. I know it was stupid and selfish, but he has a way of getting me to do things. I never intended to sleep with him. You have to believe me. Sarah, I want to believe you, but everything you did today leads me to a serious question that I want you to answer. I told you that I would never share you with another man. I also would not marry a woman who is in love with another man and wants to be with him. I am going to give you a choice, and I want you to think it over. Because once you choose, I will never again accept cheating or disrespect from you. I know you love me, and I understand your past feelings for Ryan, which is why I am going to give you an option. I want you to choose between Ryan and your marriage. If you want to be with him, I will let you go. I will treat you fairly in the divorce, and I will allow you both to live in safety, without any retaliation. Or you can stay in our marriage, remain faithful to me, and honor your marriage vows. A simple choice with long-term consequences. Now, if you choose Ryan, I will ask you to be out of the house with your belongings before the weekend, and I will immediately start the divorce papers. If you want to remain married, you will have no relationship with Ryan again. Not today. Not ever. That means he will be as if he does not exist to you. I then went on to lay down the same conditions that I had told Ryan, that they would never be in the same place at the same time, and that I would know if they were. She agreed without hesitation. So, Sarah, you get a free pass today. This opportunity only happens once in a lifetime. You have to choose between your ex-lover and your beloved husband. I am going to shower, and when I come back, I need an answer. Choose wisely. As I was walking out of the kitchen, she blurted out, "Of course, I choose you. Honey, I love you, and I don't want anyone else." Sarah, you cheated on me today. I heard what you just said, but I want you to sit here for a while and think this over. If we remain married, you are going to have to rebuild the trust that we had. You will also have to help me get over the pain and anger that you caused, which will not be easy. Take your time, and give me your answer after I get back. Given your actions today and your feelings for Ryan, this is too big a decision for you to make without deep soul-searching, I said, leaving her crying with her head in her hands. I took my time showering and getting dressed, and when I got back to the kitchen, she ran to me, hugged me, and kissed me. John, I will never leave you, and I will never do anything like that again. I promise I will make it up to you, and I will be the perfect wife. I am your wife, and I want your children, so please don't leave me. You are the only man in my life. I love you, she said, kissing and hugging me tighter than ever. We kissed and hugged for a few minutes. Then I led her to our bed and reclaimed my wife. My anger guided my actions as I sexually assaulted this beautiful woman, and she completely gave herself to me. I love you, John. Please take me. She then pulled me closer and kissed me tenderly. I made love to her for a long time, and with ecstasy, we reached sweet heights together. And then we held each other in silence for an hour, until the world around us disappeared. We were husband and wife again, and we both knew that nothing else would come between us. The next day, Ryan reflected, "Damn, she didn't call me, so I guess she decided to stick with that idiot. I can't believe this. The way we hit it off and the way she acted really made me think she was going to want to be with me. I know that if I had been able to get her into bed that day, she would have left John in a heartbeat. As soon as I can do that, she will be mine again. Her husband really ruined my plans. Who is this guy, and how does he know so much about me and my family? Well, I am not done, and I think I can get her back. Sorry, John, but you are going to lose that girl." A few days later, the idiot Ryan finally had the idea to send a text message to Sarah, trying to convince her to leave me and be with him, which did not surprise me. The good news was that Sarah showed me the message and did not reply. I told her that I had already seen his message and was happy that she didn't reply, and told her that showing me the message was a smart step to repairing our trust issues. The next day, I sent Ryan a text message asking him if his parents had managed to find Rocky and Lucky. Ryan immediately called his parents and found out how upset they were when they found out they had gone missing. Ryan realized that he had upset them by getting involved with Sarah after John warned him not to. I had them go missing for a few days under good supervision, just so Ryan would know how serious I was being. Ryan called me immediately after talking to his parents. "What in the hell did you do? They better be alive, or I swear to God I will kill you." You bastard. Well, Ryan, you won't be killing anyone. If anyone is going to die, it will be you, my friend. I warned you to not mess with Sarah, but you did. I also told you that if you got involved with her, you would feel pain like never before. The first time, this is just a little mix-up. For now, I am sure the dogs will be back soon, but be clear, this is your last warning. Never contact Sarah again. Was I clear? Yeah, but they better come back in good shape. John, because you ignored my words, I am going to do what it takes, and you are going to have to deal with the consequences of my actions. Now, since you just threatened me, they may come back in good shape, or maybe they won't come back at all. I haven't decided yet, but your tone does not make me feel compassionate. In fact, now I am not even sure if they will come back. What do you think of that, you idiot? I wonder if your mom and dad should know why their precious dogs went missing. Maybe I should call them. What do you think of that, you moron? Okay, I am sorry. Please give them back, and I will stay away. I promise. That is better, but next time, it won't be the dogs that go missing. Do you understand what I mean? I understand. I promise I will stay out of her life, and you will never hear from me again. So, when are they going to be back? They will be home soon. Ryan, you know, I am 1,000 miles away. I can't control everything, and these people I am involved with have their own opinions. But I will talk to them and see what I can do. Ryan, I really hope we never have another conversation, because the next time we do, you will be facing much bigger problems. At 3 o'clock the next morning, Ryan's distraught parents cried tears of joy as their beloved dogs barked on their porch. They never knew what happened, where they were, or that it was their son who had hurt them. Ryan heard the news and felt relieved when the dogs came back. He even sent me a one-word text after we returned them, which said, "Thanks." Ryan finally understood the situation, stayed away from Sarah, and found a job in another city several hours away. He tried to get more information on John but could never find out more than the public information that John was simply a financial consultant. Ryan realized that the information on John was sealed and decided to move on and start a new life without his old love. As long as Ryan was alive, I knew there was a possibility that he could come back into her life. So, 2 weeks after the incident, I presented Sarah with a prenuptial agreement, prepared by my lawyer. According to it, she agreed to forfeit everything, including rights to any children born during our marriage, due to any infidelity. Of course, I couldn't prevent her last meeting with Ryan from repeating itself, but I had enough incentive to penalize.
Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. It's easy, fast, and it helps us produce new content.